guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Sevilla and this is my little space of the internet, and I'm so glad to have you here. So thanks again for checking out my video. So today I'm going to do a vestibular migraine update. I've had so many messages, comments, and private messages, so I really wanted to do this update and kind of address all the information and all the questions that have been asked. I've had so many messages and I'm really sorry if I haven't gotten back to you. It was such an overwhelming positive response. I felt so much love from it, but I wanted to make sure that I got it all back to you guys, and some updates, you know, what has helped me. I think that was the biggest question, was what was helping me, what has helped me throughout this journey. So I really wanted to dedicate this video to what I did to get where I'm at. So now in my recovery, in my last video, I'm coming up on my date. It's July 1st, which is actually, I think, in like 3 or 4 days. So it's kind of crazy that I'm at this 1 year mark, and how far I've come. And I see a lot of people who are just starting this journey, and you are where I'm at. So I hope this video can give any insight and maybe help you recover faster. Again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a medical professional. This is just what has helped me in my journey, and I hope it helps whatever, you know, whoever's going through this. So yeah, we'll jump right into it. Okay, so when I was newly diagnosed, I tried so many different medications. It was on the side of like sinuses. So I tried like nasal steroids, regular steroids, allergy medicines, and none of that helped. And then, you know, I started seeing the specialist, and when I finally got my diagnosis, and if you don't know what my diagnosis is, it is vestibular migraines. That's when I started getting the correct treatment. So if you're at a point, right, where you don't have like a solid diagnosis, you definitely want to get to that point, because without a solid diagnosis, you're not going to be able to treat it. You're just going to be treating, like all these doctors before were telling me it's sinuses. I was treating sinuses when sinuses weren't my problem. It was, you know, migraines. But I delayed getting the correct treatment for so long because I thought, okay, this is sinus related. So if you don't have a diagnosis, or if you're being pushed off as anxiety, or, you know, it's just allergies or sinuses, like I always say, advocate for yourself. See if you can see a different doctor, because it's so important. Push for those tests. I pushed, like my ENT didn't want to do a VNG, but I really pushed him for like 2 or 3 months, to where he finally was like, okay, we'll do it. I was never one to back down throughout this process. I pushed through all of it. I was like, I don't care what these doctors think of me. If they think I'm crazy, I don't care. So getting that VNG was really important to me, because I really wanted to make sure I had the correct diagnosis. So when that came back, my ears are fine, I had no damage. I really could move on with, okay, this really is vestibular migraines. And then the healing started. My first neurologist, I did not like. She was very rude. She just was like, she didn't really listen to me. She just kind of gave me meds and then sent me on my way. So again, if you feel like you're being pushed aside, advocate for yourself. Ask for a different doctor. And that's exactly what I did. And now I see a neurologist, a different one, and he is amazing. I love him. I feel like he is just so kind, has the best bedside manner. So that was super important for me. And so what didn't help me, I'll tell you what didn't help me. And because this is in a lot of the groups. Now, VRT, which is very important. If you have an inner ear disorder, VRT is super important. For me, VRT did not work. I went for a number of sessions, but because mine is not really based in my ear, I didn't really have any positive effects from it. I did like going, and I really loved when they massaged my neck, so I kept going because of that. I would get these deep tissue massages from them. But as far as like it helping my dizziness, it didn't help. And again, that's just my personal thing. I know it helps a ton of people on these groups, but for me, it just didn't help. But what did help, which I guess is sort of a VRT, on my good days, I would walk. And even if it was just around my block, like I would take my dog and I would walk around the block. I would have my rescue meds with me just in case. And now I can walk like 2 miles around my complex and I have no problems. But that was the first thing I did. I just started lightly walking. So that was one of the things that helped me. Another thing that helped me was definitely finding the right medication. I got a lot of messages about this. Like, what medication are you taking? What cocktail's working for you? So the biggest thing that I can recommend for medication is like, take your meds. If a doctor prescribes you something, I know it's scary. I had this awful medicine phobia from a bad reaction to medicine a couple years ago, but I had to push through that because I knew if I didn't try these meds, like, I wasn't going to get better. So I really pushed through and I tried each med. And some of them had side effects that were not fun, but they only lasted, if I decided I didn't want that medicine, it only lasted for 24 hours. And then the side effects went away. So you have to think of it like that. Like, okay, if this medicine isn't working for me, then I don't have to take it. Like, I can wait my 24 hours and then it's, mostly out of your system. So that's my biggest, I would say, advice is take your medicine. Take the meds that the doctors give you. I know it's scary and I know it's really hard and you don't want the side effects, but it's worth it to find the right medication. I tried 4 medications, 4, okay, before I found Effexor. So Effexor is my 5th one. If I had given up, I would still be like having dizzies all day long, having vertigo, having headaches all day long. If I had stopped, I would still be where I was 6 months ago, like miserable in my bed, wishing I was dead. But I persevered because I knew it's important to find the meds that work. And I knew that there was a med out there that was going to work. There were times where I didn't feel that way, but I knew that if I kept trying, that I would find something that worked for me. And Effexor XR has given me my life back. I still have bad days, like, especially, as a woman around my cycle, sorry guys if you're watching this, but as a woman on her cycle, that's really where I'm still having my symptoms, and I'm working with an OBGYN to kind of figure that out. I'm still not there, so if you have any advice for that, girls, how you deal with symptoms around the time of the month, comment below, because that's the only struggle that I have right now. But the rest of the month is fine. The Effexor took away pretty much all my symptoms. So I was having swaying, like I said, rocking back and forth, spins. I pretty much had every symptom. A lot of people message me saying, well, did you have the symptom? Yes, I promise you, if you are feeling a symptom, I had it. I had every symptom in the book. It was insane. I can't even explain it to you. And then on top of that, I would have panic attacks. So it was like, I literally thought I was like on the Titanic dying most of the time is the best way that I can explain it. It was just horrific. But the Effexor XR really helped. And then I take propanol. I don't know how they say it. Some doctors say propanol, and then some say propanol. I don't know. But the blood pressure medication, I take that, and that has really helped with the anxiety. And then I do take a low dose of Klonopin. A lot of people ask me about this because I see a nurse practitioner who specializes in anxiety and depression. And for me, it's important because my anxiety was so out of control with this vestibular disorder that it's something that I need. A lot of people have really negative comments about like benzos, which I know they can be highly addictive, but for me, they're not. I'm someone that really benefits from them, and they really help my quality of life. So I hate those comments where I get that it's like kind-hearted, people want to warn people, but just because it's a benzo doesn't mean you're going to become like an addict. I feel like they're just as addicting as Effexor. It's like any of those pills, you can't just stop cold turkey. And for me, I'm going to only speak personally, it has really helped my quality of life. And my nurse practitioner, she is very understanding because she specializes in anxiety and like psychiatric disorders. So I'm able to get those medications without having like a doctor, like a regular doctor, guilt me into being like, oh, this is only short term, yada, yada. That has helped me tremendously. Not only has it helped my anxiety, it's helped my vertigo quite a bit. And I take a very, very low dose. And then I have like extra if I'm having a bad day. But I can tell you my anxiety has gone from like 1 million to like under 5. It's insanely different. I can drive now. I'm pretty much doing everything I was doing as a normal functioning human being. Before my disorder, when I got my vestibular migraine diagnosis, I was homebound. I was bedbound for months. I would just lay in bed and like my 7-year-old pretty much took care of me. And my mom too, but my 7-year-old really stepped up to the plate and helped me. And I was pretty much raising my kids from my bed. Like I would get up to cook them food and then go back to bed. It it was such a low point in my life. So that, the medication, sorry, I just go on rants. Like, I hope I'm making sense. But yeah, medication's super important. Try to work through those, fears, because it's so helpful. And then the last thing I wanted to touch on, this was really hard for me, but what really helped was getting immersed in something other than my vestibular disorder. So for months, and I see it a lot now, because I was the same way, I see it a lot on the groups now, where people constantly are just totally immersed in their disorder. And I was the same way. I mean, my life was consumed by my vestibular disorder, because I didn't have answers, and I really wanted to connect with people. But once I started connecting with people and knowing that I wasn't alone, I started getting better. And once I stopped focusing so much on my vestibular disorder, my life got so much better. I mean, the symptoms were still there, but I was focusing elsewhere. So I started getting into making YouTube videos for my makeup. I do makeup. I mean, you can't tell today because I look a mess, but I do makeup, and that helped so much. Was even just planning out like my videos. I'll sit and plan out what I want to do. That really helps. I did a lot of journaling. That really helped. Reading books, doing coloring books. On my really bad days, I would just do arts and crafts with my kids. Like, we would get in my bed and do that. But for those brief moments, my mind wasn't so obsessed with my vestibular disorder. And it's so easy of a trap to fall in. Like, you just obsess about it because you just want answers. But it's so important to try to get your mind off, because you know what? You are going to get better. You are going to get, to a point where you're going to be better. It's not going to be a day. It's not going to be a week. These disorders take time to heal. Like, you have damaged ears, you have damaged blood vessels. It's going to take time. So instead of wallowing in that, what I did was, I finally was like, you know what? I'm going to try to do something productive. So I did my YouTube video. And then, like I said, I did a lot of arts and crafts from home. And a lot of reading. I read a lot of self-help books. If you're spiritual, I read a lot of spiritual books. And I really just got immersed in that. I also became like a Netflix binger. But, I watched like a lot of comedies, and I tried to get myself out of like the just obsessing about my vestibular disorder, because for months and months and months, I mean, there's so many months I lost of just obsessing, and it did me no good. It just made me more anxious and more on edge. So now when I have like, for example, yesterday I had a really tough day because I am starting a cycle. And yesterday was really tough for me. I had a lot of symptoms, and I just wasn't feeling well overall. But instead of wallowing, I got up, I took my kids to the pool, I read a book, I hung out with a friend. So, and even then, that helped a lot. I got my mind off of it, but I also don't have the anxiety. Like, I know this is going to pass, and you have to constantly remind yourself, this is a good affirmation, is like, this will pass. This won't last forever. In my case anyways, I know this isn't going to last forever. And if you have a similar diagnosis, if you put that in your mind, like, your mind will start to believe it, and you will start to reaffirm, okay, you know what? This is a bad day. This is not a bad, a life. This is going to get better. And today, I feel 100% back to normal. So it's just constantly reminding yourself, that this will pass. This tough time will pass. And just keep going. Don't stop fighting for yourself, and just keep going. Find things that are important to you. Try to do things that are fun. Even if it's low activity. Like I said, when I was really sick, I couldn't go do active things, but now, now I can do a bunch of stuff. But before, I would just try to do things that were calming and easy in my bed. So yeah, I know this video these videos go off. There's so much information, and I want to make sure that I touch all the subjects. So I'm sorry if I went crazy, but that's just who I am. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, again, you can always feel free to message me. If you want, another video with more in-depth information, let me know. I love doing these because, like I said, I feel like it's part of like my calling in life is to hopefully help other people going through this. So I feel very compelled to make these videos. So yeah, I'll stop rambling now because I could go on for hours. But if you found this video useful, definitely let me know. Like it, comment, subscribe. I'm going to keep doing them, even if no one watches or whatever. If you watch and you love it, just let me know. And then if there's any videos that you want to see, or anything that you want to see about my life, just comment below or send me a personal message on Facebook. I'm more than happy to help. But yeah, I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Find something enjoying today, even if it's coloring in a book or doing a crossword puzzle, something to get your mind off your vestibular disorder. And don't forget that there's always a better day right around the corner. Remember to tell yourself this will pass. I love you guys all. Thanks so much for watching. Mwah! Have a great rest of your day.